I have 6:30 now. I'm going to start the webinar.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good evening, everyone.
Julio, when you're ready, just ask me to call roll.
Got it.
Elbia, I would invite you to look at the attendees list. If any of them are your colleagues, I would be more than happy to make them panelists.
Mohammed is having some issues to connect. He's gonna join us via his phone, but you can just make me as long as I can share, so we can share the presentation. That will be fine.
I'll be happy to make you a co-host. Let us just start our part of the meeting, and then I'll make you co-host.
Great. Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and call the roll, please?
Great, thank you. I'm going to mute everybody. Committee members, I am going to call your name. When I call it, please unmute yourself, acknowledge your name, and then mute yourself again. If you are a board member but not a committee member, I'm not going to call your name, but I will write your name down. Let's start with Julio Pena.
Present.
Thank you. Cindy Vanden Bosch.
Present.
Thank you. Patricia Ruiz.
Here.
Thank you. Karen Rolnick. Karen Rolnick. John DeLuper.
Present.
Thank you. Cynthia Felix.
Here.
Thank you. Cesar Zuniga. Cesar Zuniga. Victor Swinton. Victor Swinton. Samuel Sierra.
Present.
Thank you. Julio, roll has been called.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Executive Committee meeting hearing, Monday, January 9th at 6:30 p.m. We have one item on the agenda, a presentation from the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection on free tax prep services. I particularly think this is going to be an exciting topic. I took part in some tax prep services when I was very young. That was free and was very helpful. So I hope this is going to be very informative for folks and for the public. So I guess with that, I will turn it to Elbia. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, correctly.
Wonderful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elbia. I am the Director of Community Affairs for the Department of Consumer and Workers Protections. I want to apologize first because I am conducting this meeting from home. I have a dog who may bark at any moment, and also one of the alarms is beeping like a true Dominican house. So just so you know. Thank you everyone for joining us. There you go. I am very happy to share information about free tax prep that our agencies have available for everyone. And let me see if I can share my screen. A second. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I got muted for a little bit. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna be presenting here. Okay, so like I said, I am from the Department of Consumer and Workers Protection. And you might know us because we are the people who are also responsible for illegal vending. So our name may come up frequently in your meetings. But I want to give you a little bit more information on who we are and all the things that we do. So our main purpose is to protect and enhance the daily economic lives of New Yorkers. And we do this by creating thriving communities. We license more than 59,000 business in over 41 industries. We provide license for selling tobacco. We enforce street vending and other areas like that. We also provide financial empowerment for New Yorkers. We have financial empowerment centers all across the 5 boroughs where you can make an appointment and receive free services, whether it's that you need to open a saving account, you want to start saving to buy your own house, you want to get out of debt, you want to check your credit, you want to improve your credit, you want to fix your credit. All these services are provided through the financial empowerment centers completely for free. Besides these services that they have there, they have the very great service that I'm here to talk about, which is our free tax prep. So for the past 21 years, the Department of Workers and Consumers Protections have been providing free tax preparation across all 5 boroughs. And this is very dear to us because I don't know if you have ever find yourself in the situation where you go to file your taxes and the person who's going to file your taxes says, well, you have to pay $400 for a simple return. Or if you have kids and then they say, well, you're getting a $8,000 return, I would like to charge you $1,100. So that is like, it feels a little unfair to some people, and to others don't realize that you should not be paying that much to get your taxes done when there is a service that is completely free by the city. So what is this free tax prep service that we have? So this is a service where people who have been trained and licensed by the IRS are able to do the same thing that you will do if you go to a H&R Block or any other tax prepare center that you will normally pay for. There are, like I said, across all 5 boroughs, and they can provide the services in many different languages. They either have someone inside who can speak the language that you need, or they can use translation services. Now, this service is not only for working families. This is for single individuals, families, and I'll be giving you a little information about a new component of the program that we are expanding this year. But right now, who is eligible for these services? So anyone who's making less than $81,000 as a family, $80,000 as a family, or anyone who is a single person making less than $56,000 is able to receive these services. Now, these 2 amounts are very generous, taking in consideration that for a family to be considered a family, it doesn't have to be like 4 or 5 people. It could be a mother and a child, a father, mother, and a child, or any combination, as long as a family is determined as someone, an adult who has a dependent. So that is what the IRS considers as a family. Now, these also cover a lot of people who have high-paying jobs. If you have a minimum wage job, or you have a job that pays you, I don't know, $22 an hour, chances are that you are still within the income bracket that makes you eligible to file for these services. Now, since 2014, we have provided more than 900,000 tax returns. So meaning that we have served that many individuals in New York City. and we are very proud that we're gonna hit that 1 million this year. So we are looking forward to it. We want to make sure that this information is shared across all the board. There is not many requirements to be able to provide to use these services, and there are 4 different ways that anyone can choose to do their taxes. So we understand that there are many different situations for everyone. We are all different. Some people work late in the night, some people work early in the morning, some people have different schedules. So we have 4 ways where you can take advantage of this. We have the in-person tax prep services that is just like any other place that you go and you do your taxes. You go, you make an appointment, or you just walk in. You sit down with someone who's gonna do the taxes with you. We also have the drop-off services where if you had to go to work or you don't have the time to sit there for an hour or 2 to do your taxes, you bring all the documents that you need. You leave it there. The person who's going to be assigned to your filing is going to revise everything, is going to put everything in the system, and then you go back. They give you the information. If you agree, you sign, it is submitted for you. We also have the virtual tax prep where you are virtually with someone preparing your taxes, just like we are doing this presentation right now. We'll be talking one-on-one. I'll be telling you, hey, Julio, this is what you're gonna get, or this is how much you're gonna pay. And so that is how the virtual tax prep works. Now, there is also the assisted self-preparation service. This is for someone who is more in the know and they feel that they can do it on their own. They just need the app and a little bit of assistance. So we also provide that. You do your own taxes online, but you will have someone either on the phone or emailing you back and forth if you have any questions. So those are 4 ways that we are able to provide it. And it's very wide. If you can imagine, we have tried to come up with ways that we can provide this service to as many people as possible, thinking on any type of situation that you may have. So if you need to do your taxes at 10 p.m. because that's the time that you have, we have an option for you. If you can only do it on a Saturday or on a Sunday, we have an option for you. These services are completely secure and completely free. There is no donations or fee or anything like that. It's completely covered by our agency. You have the backup of people who know what they are doing and are able to provide the same information that you will get if you were paying for this service somewhere else. So there is trust. There are, like I said, there are multiple ways that you can submit your filing, and you have multiple languages that we are able to provide the service in, which is very important. I know that some communities, they feel more confident if they are able to understand what's going on in their own language. So we are happy to provide the services in the language that you can see in the screen. Jerry, you have a question.
We could wait until the end. I'm just raising my hand first. Unless you want to answer now.
Well, we can answer as we go. I don't want you to feel left behind. That's okay.
Let me ask the chair, Jeremy and Julio. Are you okay if I ask a question?
Sure. Albia, if you're okay taking questions now, you can answer them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
great.
I'll go back and give you the opportunity later as well, but we can as we go as well.
Okay, great. I have 2 questions. First question is, right, so the 4 services you guys provide is great, but I do represent I do live in a work in the immigrant community that they always working. Is it possible to set up a office hours that you guys come into Sunset Park and kind of do those of course by appointment only, right, to do those tax for the folks in the community?
So
that's my first question.
Yeah, so we get this question a lot, especially from elected officials and nonprofits who like to provide the service to their community that they serve. The truth is that we don't have the capacity to bring the services to you. We have over 100 sites. So what we are able to do is connect you with the closest one and help you get those appointments for whoever you serve. Does that sound?
Perfect. So the second question I have, the preparer, right? Is someone from your agency go sign the preparer at the bottom of the form? The reason I'm asking that, right? So you mentioned that there's other services and stuff, right? Like H&R Blocks and stuff. They do guarantee if something happened, right? They do guarantee and stand by your side and fight for you if IRS come after you. Does the preparer actually sign it if something happened? That the preparer will represent the client in a court.
Yeah. So I want to make a distinction to that because this is something very widely known that we get to hear a lot. No tax preparer will represent you in court. What they will do is that they'll provide you assistance and guidance for whatever issues you have with your return. If they said that it was issued from the person who submitted the paperwork. And it's the same thing that they all do. So if there is a error or you get selected for those random inquiries that the IRS does, the audits, then yes, you will get, these centers are year round, so you will get assistance from someone to help you with that if it was something that needed to be done. I just want to make sure that we don't use the "I will go to court" kind of misconception, because H&R Block or any other tax preparer, they don't do that. They just provide a basic service for everyone. But it's the same services they will get, the same protection they'll get with one of these preparers.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on. So what do you need to get these tax services done? You have to bring an ID. And I want to make a distinction because you mentioned immigrants community. There is no legal status requirement for you to be able to file your taxes and do it for free with us. So those who don't have a Social Security card can obtain assistance obtaining a taxpayer ID, or can come in with their already assigned taxpayer ID to do their taxes. So everyone has a responsibility, a fiscal responsibility to do their taxes if they are making any type of income. And so everyone will be accepted to do their filing as long as they are within that tax bracket that I mentioned before. So what they need is basic stuff, the same thing that you will be providing in any other sites. Photo ID that proves who you are. We also accept the ID NYC. There is a free ID that the City of New York provides. You will have to provide proof of your tax ID number or Social Security number or taxpayer identification number if you have it. You can either bring the card, a photocopy, one that is very clear, or any letters that you have from the IRS. You will have to bring the proof of income. What is your proof for this income? Do you have W-2s? Do you have 1098s, 1099s, or records because you are a self-employed? And I'll explain that a little bit more when we move forward. You also need to bring any type of expenses that you have, such as childcare expenses, and information about your bank account if you want to do the direct deposit, which is the fastest way to get your refund if you are getting a refund. Now, our centers are also equipped to help individuals or families obtain a free or low income, low fee saving account, checking account with one of the banks that the city has deemed, such as one of the unions or a bank that has partnered with us to provide one of these zero interest accounts. One thing that I also forgot to mention is that if you are doing taxes, a joint tax return, your spouse has to sign the tax return as well. So it's not like you can come in and say, hey, I want to file my taxes, but my husband cannot come in. Can you do it for me? They can do it for you, but they will not be sending it unless the other person is there as well to sign. It happens a lot because especially in the Hispanic community, we tend to just do things like that, where we go and file and someone knows us and they don't care. Unfortunately, in our service, both individuals will have to be there to sign. Jerry, you have another question.
So you mentioned the bank that you guys work with. If you say zero interest, do you mean by zero minimum requirement, or I mean, I like to put money into a bank that give me some interest?
Yeah. So in terms, I misspoke. It's not interest. It's a zero fee account. There is no minimum balance on those accounts. They don't require you to maintain a minimum amount of money in the account for you to be able to have it. So banks like MCU, which is the Municipal Credit Union, tends to have these types of accounts.
I think we may have lost Elbia for a moment. Elbia, can you hear us? Okay, let's give her a moment.
Julio, I do know we also have Mohammed from DWCP.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties on my end.
No worries. Welcome.
Are you guys able to see me? Yeah.
Yes.
So I think Elbia is sharing the screen, but I think she's having some difficulties on her end. I am unable to share the screen, so let's give Elbia like a few minutes. Let's give her like 2 minutes. But I will be leaving my contact information, so if anyone has further questions after this webinar, you guys can all reach out to me. But let's see if Elbia is back. I think we might have lost her. Let me see. Elbia.
Can you hear me?
And she's back. Yep, we hear you, Elbia.
I can hear you now.
Well, we can't see your
Perfect.
screen.
I lost.
There we go.
Okay, give me a second.
No
You're
worries.
back.
Okay. One of my pets came behind me trying to get me and took everything with her. So let me share again. So we were talking before I left. We were talking about the bank accounts. They are available through the partners that we
Muted you again, Elbia.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're good.
So yeah. Okay. So yes, these accounts are accounts that provide. They are able to be provided on zero minimum balance or low fees. So there are accounts who ask for you to have at least $2,000 direct deposit every month, or they asking you to have a minimum of $500 always in the account before it closes. So these types of accounts don't have those requirements. They may not be the best ones for other things. Like you said, you want an account that give you high interest. Those are not going to be those accounts. These are accounts that are being provided for basic use, such as receiving this tax refund, and that you are able to use for other things as well, and that you can do regular day-to-day banking. So yeah, but if you want an account who has more benefits and different things that are being available, then maybe a different option will be better fit. So many questions. Yay, we're doing great. Let me see who wants to go first. Pat?
You're muted,
Pat.
Pat.
All right. I'm going to defer to Cynthia, who rose her hand before me. Then I'm after her, and then Damaris can go after me.
Sounds great.
Okay, my question is, for our area, where is the nearest tax preparing site?
Yep. So at the end of the presentation, I'm going to drop in the chat our tax locator, which is that app that we have where you put your zip code, and then it's going to tell you what sites are available next to you. Now, the tax season has not started yet. The IRS will announce either this week or next week when they're going to start accepting tax returns. Most likely it's going to be at the end of January, like they do every year. So once that announcement goes live, then all centers go live in that map. So I'll show you how it looks at the end so you can have an idea. And what is that you have to do is very simple. It doesn't require a lot for you to be able to use it. It's just a website. You put in your information. It will give you a list of every location and starting for the closest one. And if you have a specific requirements, like let's say that you want someone who can speak Spanish in that location, then you can click on that and it will show you only the locations who are able to provide that language. Or maybe you want someone who can speak Russian, and then it's going to show you who can provide that services. It's also going to show you locations that don't have a staff on site that speak the language, but they can assist you with translation. So it's an amazing app, a great tool to be able to use. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Who was next?
Me, Pat, how are you? Thank you for this presentation. I, in the past, have used the free tax prep at LIU, because at that time, that was the closest tax prep place available. So I hope there are some moves closer to the community. My question is this still, are the preparers still volunteers, or are these employees of your office?
So yes, so there are different type of staff in different type of centers. We have centers who are partner with us, and they have their own staff, and they have their own staff that is either permanent or temporarily for the tax season. There is also a lot of volunteers, and I want to. This is a question that always come up because people are worried that these people are volunteers, they know what they're doing. So everyone who is going to be preparing and submitting these tax reports, it is completely trained and approved by the IRS. So they go through training, they have to pass a test, and then they have to get that final say from the IRS. So everyone is qualified to do taxes. It's not like I'm going to go tomorrow there and I'm going to file your taxes for you. So you can have all the confidence that whoever is going to be handling your submission is someone who has been thoroughly trained and knows what they're doing.
Okay. And my last question, in reference to the virtual tax prep, is paperwork to be uploaded in preparation for the virtual tax prep?
Yeah.
How are you handling the signatures?
Yeah. So out of the 4 options, there are 2 options that are a little bit more upbeat for people who know a little bit more about computers and things of that nature. There are ones where you do the tax preparation online, like we are doing right now, and there is also the one where you do it yourself. So like we are doing right now, if you were to do your taxes, Pat, with me, I'll send you an email with the documents that you need to sign, and you will electronically sign. And then you will send me an email with any documents that you have, whether it's from your phone, taking the pictures and sending it to me, or from your computer. So that is how it works. If you are doing the taxes yourself, you will be uploading the documents on your own, and someone is going to be giving you instructions how to do it. But those 2 options, I'll recommend for someone who is a little more self-aware of how computer and electronic signatures work. One that is my favorite is the drop-off option, because you don't have to be there, you don't have to wait. You can drop it at any moment and come back at any moment that is convenient for you, and complete the whole process within a few minutes. So that is why it's so great, because they have all those 4 options.
I appreciate it, but I really hope that they will try to get an office, a place that they can do it in the CV7 district. I appreciate it.
So
Thank you
this
so
year,
much.
yeah, we are expanding the centers. I have to say we have more sites. We have new sites. We have new services being provided as well. So hopefully, whenever our map goes live and you check your zip code, you will be happy to see new locations that are closer to you. Okay. And then we have one more person. I think it was Damaris or Beverly.
Hi, I'm Damaris. How are you?
Hi, good.
So I'm familiar with it in the sense of banking, but also in tax preparation and banking, because we used to do financial literacy, and we used to refer and also partner with a couple of programs.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just for that, we would set a separate account, and we would just call it, just for the tax preparation, free. And then we had some limitations as to who can open those accounts. And then they stopped it altogether because it got very complicated. And we used to work with New York City Business Solutions. So my question is for this community, because as the tax preparer, which I do mostly businesses, it's mostly bookkeeping. I do a lot of estates. So when I get people that can do the tax return for free, every tax preparer has to have the disclosure up on the wall. And what I tried to do is to have like a flyer or a handout for those people that I see should be doing it for free or getting it for free, so they can go somewhere. Now, what I find is that in Sunset Park, there were not many places, but one. I was sending everybody to the Center for Family Life, and they would come back because there was just too long a wait, or they weren't taking anybody anymore. So would you have a list of who will be participating in this area?
Yeah. So like I said, our map will go live once the IRS gives the go for the returns to be accepted. But I'll make sure to send a list with the updated information to Jeremy and Beverly and everyone in the community board team, so you can have it. I'll also provide a website where the map is gonna be. Once we go live, you will be able to see the sites. Right now, I don't have out of my top of my head what are the locations that are gonna be, but we have done extensive work this year to try and bring more locations. Sometimes it's very limited because we partner with these locations. It's not like we rent a space or we just do a pop-up. We partner with other nonprofit agencies who are able to provide us a place where our staff, volunteers are able to be throughout the whole tax season. So sometimes it's very difficult to find locations, but I'm sure that this year we have new locations. We have the same ones that we had last year as well. So hopefully the area where you live has more options this time.
Then my second question has to do with the banking. Are they going to provide a list of the participating banks, because MCU is not local. So I'm just thinking, since you're in Sunset Park, CB7, I'm thinking Sunset Park. And really, when it comes to affordable banking, that's where we lack in Sunset Park. I mean, one of the few affordable used to be Capital One and Popular. Popular has no free accounts anymore. As a matter of fact, the business account minimum is $15,000. That's not for what we have as a small business in our community. So their pricing is really outpriced. I wish it was Ponce Bank, because at least Ponce Bank still has those free $100 accounts, and you just have to keep $100. And then they also have a very low minimum for nonprofits. So would you know in our area what banks might be participating? Because we have no credit unions here either.
Yeah. So
one of the things that we have is expensive banking right now. I think my only favorite one that's left is probably Chase and TD. But everything else is really outpriced for the people in our community.
Yeah. So I just want to make a distinction. I use the municipal credit union as an example. It doesn't mean that you will have actual MCU accounts. But I can tell you a list of NYC Safe accounts partners that we have. We partnered with Banco Popular, Springbank, Rinchgood, Neighborhood Trust, the Lower East Side People's Federal Credit Union, and Carver, I believe. So there are several contracted options that we have, and those banks have connection with other banks where they have partner, and you can withdraw for free on where they have the ATMs and all that information. But if you were to open one of those accounts, they will provide you with all that information ahead of time. It will be a individual decision which one is that you are opening. And like I said, these are basic accounts that we have already, or agencies have already deemed as a good service for the community, but it's not like you will have all the fancy things that a regular bank will give you. Okay. Any other question?
I think we have a few more questions, but I know you still have a few more items to get through to your presentation. So I was just going to ask if folks to hold on while Elvia finishes the presentation.
Yep. So I'll move along. So something that is very amazing for this year, which I am so happy that we are able to offer, is the free year-round service for self-employees. We also do taxes for those who are self-employed. So all these centers are able to file your taxes well if you are, I don't know, a babysitter, or maybe you sell food out of, I hope a licensed food vending location. But if you have any type of income because you work as a freelancer, or, you do work that doesn't really depend of a employer giving you a W-2, maybe they give you a 1099 or a 1098 or whatever form you are getting, you are also able to file your taxes in one of those locations. And the year-round services, it is meant to help you as a self-employed to be able to comply with all the requirements that you have, such as filing your taxes annually, paying your fees quarterly. They'll provide workshops on basic record keeping and how to improve the way that you handle your cash flow in your business. Maybe you want to become an actual business owner with a brick and mortar location. Those are the services that are also going to be available through this year-round self-employed service that is also going to be available there for all of you. So it is very, very dear to me, because I know that sometimes you make your little amount of money and it may seem a lot in paper, but it ends up not being too much, because after all the things that you have to invest and all the expenses that you may have, and then having to go to one of these places where they assist you do this service for a fee. It defeats the purpose of trying to save to be able to create something better for your own. So I am very happy that we are also including those. I do not have the income brackets for that one. We haven't make it public yet. But it will be just as wide as or self individual tax income. So a lot of small business owners are going to be able to qualify for this. And this is a partnership with the with SBS as well as Small Business Services. So there is going to be a lot of other services that are also going to be able to be provided through our financial empowerment centers. They are connected to these tax services. And so what are financial empowerment centers that I have mentioned quite a few times? So financial empowerment centers are centers who are open year-round. So we have a lot of sites that do tax prep during the tax season, but not all those sites stay open throughout the year. So like I said, we partner with nonprofits and many agencies to create spaces to complete taxes. But a lot of those locations close once the tax season ends, right? The financial empowerment centers are open year-round. They are available in all 5 boroughs, and we are opening more and more sites every year. So these centers are able to provide you with financial literacy. They are able to help with anything you have. They also provide other services that I don't like highlighting because then everybody goes towards those. But I'll mention here very generally. They are able to guide you and help you if you want to apply to the New York City Housing Lottery. The one that we have for the city of New York, they'll explain to you what are those income requirements that every apartment has. That sometimes makes it very confusing, and that's why some people don't apply to the correct one, and they lose or miss opportunities to obtaining one of those apartments because you didn't select the information correctly, or you mark your income below where you actually are, or higher than when you actually are, and when they select you, then they disqualify you because you didn't put the information correctly. So that's one of the services that they are able to provide in there. There is no income or immigration restriction to be able to use this center. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter if you have legal status. You can make an appointment there and they'll assist you. They'll provide you basic information such as maybe you have a child who's going to college in a year or two. Maybe you want to prepare for your kids in 10 years from now. You want to be able to have some money set aside for them to go to college. Maybe you want to buy your house, or maybe you have debts that have been piling up and you want to get rid of them. Those are the services that you can get in these financial empowerment centers. They will help you create a budget if you need one. They also help open saving accounts. They will help contact debtors, these little calls that we get, and they are like, hey, you owe us $50 from 1997 and we are trying to get you. They'll help you settle those debts and do a better planning for the future. If you want to save for retirement as well, they are able to provide you with the guidance. All these services for free. There is no fee related to that, and there is no, like I said, there is no income requirement. So everyone and anyone can take advantage of the financial empowerment centers. We are expanding these centers. Like I said, we're working really hard with SBS to open more locations because we know the services that are being provided are really great. And we know that more and more people are asking us because sometimes there is no appointments, specifically if you want services in a specific language. Sometimes it's very hard to obtain the weekends ones. So this year we are adding 2 hubs in the Bronx, 2 in Brooklyn, 1 in Queens, one in Staten Island, and this expansion will serve about 4,000 people more per year. So this is one of those updates that we have been working hard during the last year to be able to bring to the community. And I hope that you can let your friends, neighbor, anyone that you know about these locations, because like we said, you use it or you lose it. If we don't see a lot of flow on these new locations, they may not stay open for next year. So hopefully you will be able to find good use of those and the services that they provide. Now, I provide you with a lot of information. All this information is available in our website, nyc.gov/DCWP. You can go there, you can find information about the free tax prep, the how to obtain those accounts that I told you about, how to obtain appointments for these financial empowerment centers. And I'll show you as well or tracking map of how to do your taxes, how to find a location for your taxes. In the meantime, I'll put it in the screen. You can ask me any other questions that you may have.
Thank you, Elvia. I see we have two additional questions from Beverly and then Cindy.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for this presentation. I know someone who receives Social Security disability only. That's her only source of income. And she says that she does not have to file a tax return. Is that true?
So there is not a mandate for them to file taxes, but they can. So one of the things and this is an individual situation for everyone, and I know that we have someone also here who filed taxes. I don't know if you remember when all these stimulus checks were going out and people who didn't file taxes were not receiving them, or we were trying to find the information. There is no requirement if she's receiving this type of income. She can always submit a preemptive return where she will not have to file taxes. She will not get a refund, but it's just it's like signing up your email with the IRS, if I make myself understand. But no, she doesn't have to.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy?
Yeah, I have a question about if a person is deaf or hard of hearing or has communication disabilities or is blind, how can they receive these services? And if so, what do you have accommodations to support these individuals?
That's a great question. Not many of our sites have that type of accessibility for them, but we do have partners who cater specific for this population. And I can find that information and send it to you guys. But from our sites, unfortunately, we don't have sites that are catered specifically for that community.
Okay, great. So if you could share those resources so that we can also distribute those out to people in the community, we'd greatly appreciate that.
Yep.
Damaris?
I just wanted, well, actually the last question was going to be one of mine, but going back to, I think it was Beverly, when they say they only have Social Security and SSI and that's their only income, we still talk to them, and I think it's always good to do so because sometimes we uncover things that they should be filing. Through one of those, we've also found somebody was filing against one of the elderly clients and collecting money, and she had no idea. So it's always good to do the conversation. But one thing we were pushing also is to have people create their PINs because there's so much tax fraud out there. So I wish your program would do the same because most of the tax fraud is happening to seniors and we see it across the board. I see a lot of it from clients that usually, to be honest, when they go to the center and they get the letters, they don't go back to the center for help. They come to us with these letters so that we can read it and translate it for them. And that's where I find a lot of the fraud. And I try to get everybody to get a PIN. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And also, you said some centers will be open year round and some will not be. Again, so in order for us to know specifically for Sunset Park, like if I want to be able to help some people, I have to wait for the map to come out to know that. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. So,
okay. And where would I get the flyers?
Okay, so I just dropped in the chat the link to the map. Those locations, if you see right now in the map, if you put, I don't know, give me a zip code. I'll share my screen so we can all see it.
11220.
Okay. So let me share my screen so you can see how the map works. You see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So right now, the map is showing me the locations that are ready to start. So these locations are preparing for providing services. Not all of them are live, and you will not be able to see appointments available. But if I were to type in your specific zip code, you say 112 what?
0 again. Yeah, 11220.
220. Okay. So. Okay. Then you can either check on the map or you can click where it says results, and then it's going to tell you which is the closest one. So the closest one to that zip code is going to be in Avenue M. And then you're going to be able to see the information of what do they offer in there. So they offer to schedule appointments. They'll work for the full season. They'll be open from January 10 to April 18. These are the dates and times that they will be open. And any days that they plan to be closed are going to be there as well. It's providing you information about the income limitations, the ones that I mentioned before, 80,000 for a family, 56,000 for a single person. They offer drop-off and in-person service in that location only. So you can either visit by appointment, and these are the languages they are able to provide support in. So those are a lot of languages for the area, to be honest. So they also have special services such as amended returns. Let's say that last year you file your taxes and you say, I only made 50,000, but I don't know where you got a new form for some money that you got that you forgot, and now you have to amend that tax and send a new one and let the IRS know, hey, I made a mistake. I actually have more income than that, or any other error that you have made. They are able to do that for you in there. They are also able to file prior tax years. I believe we can go back 3, maybe 4 years. I'm not sure, but at least 3. So if you haven't done 2021, 2020, and 2019, you are also able to do that in there. They're also able to help with self-employed Schedule C, those that we were talking about if you have your own little job. So in that tab, if there were more centers open right now and able near that zip code, there will be site number 1, site number 2, site number 3. So you will be able to see the information on all of them. Okay, does that give you an idea of how the site works? Great. So the tool is very simple to use. Like I said, we have hundreds of locations. They are not all live. Once we go live, this little map is going to be lit and you're going to be able to see all the locations.
I have two questions.
Mhm.
One, I know you talked a little bit about, assisting small business owners and freelancers. But what kind or level of taxes does this cover? And like more specifically, like if someone owns a home or if they own multiple homes, if they have some deductions that are not so common, if they like with some of these things, would this cover those kinds of levels of taxes?
Yes. So for like you said, that is a great way to put it. If you own, let's say that you own a two-family house and you have a tenant who pays your rent, and that makes you as a self-employed as well, a small business owner. So you can file those taxes as well in one of the centers. They are able to do most of the different deductions and different schedules that you have to submit. It also take on consideration the income that you are reporting. Like the larger the income, the more exceptions you may have, or the more complicated it is. We don't have a open-ended income, so I don't really have it in mind right now how much it is. It's 100 and change, 100,000 and change, the maximum income for someone who is self-employed. But I don't have the exact amount. I'll send you that with all the other information that I'm going to send you, so you can share with the whole community board. But yeah, if there is anything in your tax return that they are not able to handle, they'll let you know right there. Before submitting anything, they'll do a full assessment of what your tax situation is and advise you before submitting anything. It's not like you are there and now you have to actually file with it. So they are well trained on different scenarios or things that can be different, or things that we are not able to submit. Like, let's say that you have multiple businesses and you need to file different types of returns, and combine all those businesses, your income is already out of our range, and then we wouldn't be able to assist you. Okay.
Thank you. And my second question, I know you mentioned that this is available for individuals who make under 56,000 and for families who make over 80. If someone makes over those two brackets, is there like a sliding scale for them, or do they not qualify for this service?
So they do not qualify for the service through us. We actually have, I believe we have the highest level of income. I don't want to say for sure, but I think the IRS also offers free tax preparation for individuals done through the different apps that they have partnered with. Like I believe TurboTax is one of them, TaxSlayer. So you can go to the IRS website and it will let you know what income brackets they have to provide these free services. Unfortunately, with us, if you are out of the income, even by a penny, we wouldn't be able to assist. And we can, I don't want to say that we can recommend, but we can always provide information of other agencies that might be providing the services.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? Are there any questions from attendees? You can do so by raising your hand. Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much, Elvia, for the presentation. I very much appreciate it. It was very informative.
I'll make sure to send you tomorrow a copy of the presentation that I did, the flyers with the information of what documents you need to bring and how to find the website that I just dropped for you in the chat, where the map is located. Okay, and once we go live, I put a reminder in my calendar to send you a little heads up for all of you, so you'll know that the map is live and you can check all the other sites as well.
Thank you so much. It's very appreciated.
Absolutely.
I left my email on the chat box if anybody has any questions. Sorry about the little technical difficulties I had on my side, but yeah, thank you guys, and thank you, Albia.
No worries. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Before we adjourn, I just wanted to make two brief announcements. One, I know folks saw an email from the board a couple of days ago. We sadly lost a board member a couple of days ago. John Garcia passed. His funeral will be tomorrow. I will be in attendance, and I'm sure we'll see some other board members, and I hope I can see some folks there. It was very sudden and very tragic, and I'm kind of at a loss for words. But I just wanted to mention, to remind and to mention that. So I hope I will see some folks sharing and remembering our colleague John. And also to say that for the January board meeting, I will be very late to the meeting, and I've asked Cindy, our great first vice chair, to start the meeting for us. And I will probably be joining about an hour-ish late. So I just wanted to let everyone know that. But that's about it. But thank you, everyone. I hope you have a lovely evening, and good night.
Thanks, Julio. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.
Night.